So a warm welcome to Bern, Switzerland, and the 2017 Bern Ladies Cup, coming to you live from the curling Ban Almend. And in this draw, number 11 in the B Road, we feature the Russian team of Victoria Moiseeva and the US team of Nina Roth. This is the Moiseeva lineup. Julia Guzieva at lead, Galina Arsenkina at second, Uliana Vasileva at third, and Victoria Moiseeva skipping. And for the US, it will be Becca Hamilton leading, Eileen Geving at second, Tabitha Peterson at third, and Nina Roth skipping. Their coaches and Swisshelm. So this game is a pretty important one. The loser doesn't go out. They have another life because we're in the B road here, and there's one more road below that, the C road. But the winner gains a place in tomorrow morning's quarterfinals. Two teams qualified already through the A road, and now two will qualify tonight through the B road. This game will be one of them. With me this evening, we've got Michael Schifferle. Welcome, Michael, to the curling show. Hope you enjoy it, and we look forward to hearing your comments on this game between the US and Russian teams.
Thank you, Richard. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to a dance of good curling. We have started off here with the first stone. The US team of Nina Roth has had first stone, so Moiseeva will have hammer. They have played into the house, and we will now probably see rather this defensive end at first.
Yes, as always, it's nice to get a few short guards out, and then the play gets a little bit more attacking.
Exactly. Seeing that it is an important game, the teams will probably hold back a little bit with the attacking in the first end and see how everybody feels, and then from the second or third end, we'll get down to business.
So, yep. Plenty of defense when you're hitting out a stone in the back 12-foot circle with your second shot. So there are two US teams here. This one skipped by Nina Roth, and the second one there in the C road on the next door sheet of ice to this. Corey Christensen, the other US team. So they're still in it.
Besides our featured game, there's 7 other games going on. We have the second B final, where Binyu Wang from China plays against the Swedish team of, I'm not sure what her first name is, Rana?
Isabella Rana.
Isabel Rana, a young team. The winner there will advance as well to the quarterfinals tomorrow morning, and the loser will have another shot at the C final tonight at 8 o'clock.
So short guard from the US, playing with the red tops.
The Russians have decided to use the guard and draw behind, I think.
This one looks plenty of weight. I think the weight has been pretty similar at the start of every game, so that one was quite far off the pace when it came to what was required, really. So a chance now for US team to come round the guard.
This one seems to have quite some pace in it as well, but it will hang around. Or not.
Oh, it hangs around, but not in the house. Still there. So on an end full of stones, sometimes these can be a nuisance if you're trying to get something out of the rings. They're still in play, but not counting for a shot. So another chance for the Russians to see if they can get round this guard belonging to the US.
This one looks just wrap the guard. So now going for a takeout. Nicely done. Rolls a bit far, but the most important thing is the red one is out of the rings. This, of course, now gives the Russians a chance to hit and roll behind the yellow guard as well.
So, well, she got the hit, but it's going to roll out. So, Juliana Vasileva, her first stone here in the first end of play. And as you pointed out, Michael, the last stone advantage here is held by the Moiseeva team.
So now we see another attempt at the draw. This one needs to curl a bit, it seems.
Well, it did curl a long way at the end, but not far enough to get behind the cover of the guard.
Should try coming around the outside.
So, second attempt for Vasileva.
Внимание! О! Внимание! О! Нет! Юля!
Just had to draw a fraction more to get the roll behind the guard there.
And now a chance for the Americans to roll.
You gotta hit it pretty
They have
close to
also
the nose.
pointed out rolling to the side. However, they need to be careful not to lock the red stone onto the yellow one in the back.
Take the roll.
Yes, that's the danger of these stones that remain in play even though they're out of the rings.
Yeah.
Speed seems really nice. Yeah.
So, Nina Roth, her first stone here in the first end.
Hurry.
An attempted take out and try to get behind the guard. I think this is going to curl too much and catch the guard. She didn't take a lot of ice for that one.
No, she didn't. And now the Russians with a chance to place a second stone.
So a definite opportunity for Russia, perhaps to get off to a fast start with a two-pointer here.
Exactly. If you can place that correctly, then Nina Roth will have a very difficult double takeout and may just opt to take one.
Если будет слабее, то параллельно. Хорошо. Здесь единственное, вот по центру будет хорошо, да, идти. Да, по центру будет хорошо. Ну, если что, там любое место, даже в конце.
So Moiseeva aiming to draw from right to left, aiming at the brush there, drawing off to the left-hand side as far away as possible from the stone they already have in the front of the house. And not leaving a double takeout on.
So far it looks very controlled by the sweepers. That's a nice stone placement. Now there's Nina Roth is facing two, and as she points out, she opts to take the shot stone and roll to the right in front of the red stone, hoping that Moiseeva may have a partial miss and lock the yellow stone onto the red one.
Sounds good. 9-5? 10. 9-5 is good.
The aim for the Americans here now is to make it as difficult as possible for the Russians to score two.
9-8! Yup! Yup! Whoa! Stop!
Well, they definitely want to stick around with the shot. They don't want it running out. But it does. And the sweeping was, well, it wasn't right eventually. I think they needed to just leave that alone, hope it curled a bit more and stick around the rings. So now it's a pretty easy shot for Moiseeva. She just needs to get a bite in the house somewhere and she will score a two-pointer in this opening end of play. Get them off to a solid start.
Смотрите внимательно, девочки, сейчас в упор можно. Внимание, Юля!
This one looks a bit pacey. Sweepers are holding off. But now it starts to slow down a bit. Will it be enough? Yes, it will.
Yeah, never in doubt. That draw shot from Bita Moiseeva will give them two shots in the first end. And Russia take an early lead over the US, 2-0 in this match.
What's your saying? Let's work hard. It's just that first shot you threw.
Horrible. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
On the rock, basically. My own bad. Should we just cross the yellow one and hit the yellow one?
So the winner of the end starts end number 2, and it will be the Russian lead, Yulia Guzeyeva.
Хорошо, не будет отлично. Можно Ульяна. Пока чуть пошире идет. Окей. Не-не-не.
And now here we see classic curling tactics. As they have a 2-point lead, they play into the house and leave it to the Americans to throw up guards and create opportunities to score two.
2.5.
So Becca Hamilton going for the
Wait, looks good.
corner guard.
Right here is perfect. Yep, yep, yep. Make it tighter. 16-3.
Nice spot.
Atta girl. Good judge, guys.
Чуть пошире.
Стой.
Только если Ульяна. Окей, если можно, будет Ульяна.
Пока нет.
Пока очень широко. Давайте хотя бы начало. Да. Да, иначе просто очень широко будет. Будет шестой.
And now we have Julia Moiseeva with her second stone coming into the house as well,
Ладно, хорошо.
placing it on the center line. The Americans will ignore that stone and draw around their own corner guard.
Line's good. 7. Well then.
9,
Got room.
10. 10.
Whoa. 14.
Just struggling a bit for the speed, I think.
Bury it.
7.
Whoa. Yep. A little bit. Whoa.
Oh, pretty nice. Stopped quite quickly.
Stopped quite a bit, yes.
Very nice.
Is
Matt.
behind the tee line though, which means the opposition can come and face right up against it. Always better with these shots if you could be in front of the tee line.
Единственное, что... Ну, у нас очень
Exactly, and then the opposition needs to move your stone instead of just freezing to it, as we call it.
Мне не очень нравится сюда. Мы можем попробовать его доставать.
Now there's a discussion with the Russians. They're not quite sure whether they want to remove the guard or want to play into the house again.
Ну, в принципе,
Вот так мне нравится.
вам не нравится?
Мне нравится открытый сбоку. Не над,
They have now decided to play another draw, I think, from where the broom is placed. So it looks like the Russians, they came to play, they mean business,
Можно?
and will try to get another stone into a scoring position here.
Окей. Юля. Юля, Воу. 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 Хорошо. Окей.
Oh well,
I think it might. 9.
we're in for it here.
Second a jam.
Second a jam.
No, it's gonna go over. On your side. Okay.
Okay, so the Americans have now decided that 2 guards is a bit much. They will remove that and try to roll to the side so that their own stone will cover the yellow one in the house.
Close.
So pretty big weight at this from Eileen Giving.
Yep. Atta girl.
Nice shot, cleaning up the center in front of the house.
Great.
And now we are to where you pointed out, Richard, before. The Russians will now play around the yellow guard and freeze on top of the yellow stone. And by doing that, they will more or less eliminate the yellow one from play, more or less.
Воу. Воу. Нет. Вип.
Контакт.
Вип. Воу. Вип. 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 Вип до конца не бросать. Вип, не бросать.
Lots of sweeping to get it back.
Давай.
It's nicely round. Is it going to count first shot here against the yellow?
Окей.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not useless there though. Just over curled for them at the end, I think. Just a fraction.
Yes, if you compare the lines of this stone with the yellow stone that the Americans have played, you see that you will probably have to get by the guard with quite some room to actually not overcurl in the end.
Back up. Hard back. Hard back.
This one. Here we go. Not quite what they wanted. They wanted to stick around, but the most important thing is shot stone is gone, and play is now going to focus on the side, which is what you want if you have last stone. You would like play to focus on the sides of the house, and ideally place your last shot in the center of the house to score 2.
So it will be Juliana Vassilieva have a go at this shot. Needed to give it some vigorous sweeping. It's going to end up short, but hopefully for them not short of the house at least. That's blocking the way to the US stone. It's not quite what they wanted.
And the US have now decided to split the house, so they will play onto the right-hand side, looking at the screen now.
90.
Place a second stone, and then if things go according to plan, they will end up scoring 2. The Russians will remove the yellow stone, the US will replace it again, which should give them 2 in the end.
7, 8. Full 8 foot. 7. Curling a lot. Full 8 foot. Full 8 foot line's
There.
good.
It's
Well,
full 8.
you're all here.
It is.
13, 8. Just quick there, Tab.
This one a bit pacey.
I got an 80.
That's a bad mistake at this stage.
I would have too. Yeah. So I was just cleaning.
Good opportunity to make something of the end here, but now I think it's definitely advantage Russia here.
Ну, я бы делала контролом. Я могу толкнуть гард. Что?
And apparently the Russians can see a good part of the red stone, so they will play onto their own stone and aim at doing a promotion takeout and getting the yellow stone out.
Воу. Воу. Внимание. Галя. Нет, Галя. Галя. Отлично идет, отлично.
Oh, great shot.
Nice shot, nicely done.
Хорош, молодец.
Yeah, if you're sitting in the hack at the other end, the way the angle of these stones was, you wouldn't see a great deal of that.
But with the swing that the ice has, if you play a nice takeout, not too fast, then it will come around, it will work out in the end.
You don't think we can get just half around?
What?
Just half around like that?
Yeah, I think we can. Just a 5.
As long as I'm top 8 half around. Yeah.
Okay. A little more ice.
Tabitha Peterson just said it for us. If they get around the red stone on top of the house into the 8 foot, which is the white space in the house, half covered, they are fine.
I'm good.
So the aim is not to be, you don't absolutely have to be shot stone after this stone, but you have to be at least second stone.
Curlin. 5. 5. 5. Full 8 foot. Hard. Go. Hot down. Go.
Well, just coming up short. They are second shot, Michael, but not quite where they wanted, I don't think. If the Russians can pick that out cleanly, they'll look pretty good and be lying 5.
Exactly, and if they hit and stick, they will also block the path to get behind the guards again.
На 0. Эй, 0. Эй, да.
So a chance for Victoria. Victoria Moiseeva to really put the pressure onto the US team here. Big weight. Oh, well played.
It was a nice rock. However, it gives Nina Roth a chance to come behind it, because the two rocks that we see just on the bottom of the screen, they are now frozen together, so locked in. So if Nina Roth can get behind the red rock, there's no way that the Russians can just do a promotion takeout. However, you need to get at least a half stone cover of your own.
So it's definitely there for Nina Roth to make this shot. But if she doesn't make it, she's going to be facing a pile of Russian granite. Or if she leaves them an easy takeout, so it's pretty important she gets this shot. Sure, she's got enough weight.
Good sweeping there.
Oh, she's a good-looking shot. It needs to curl at the end, though.
Still doesn't curl.
Well, that one ran quite straight at the end, really. I think Moiseeva can get past that guard, tightly past the shot stone of her own, or the stone of her own at the top of the house. Remove that without bumping it onto her own stone, which would be not a good idea.
Exactly. But from looking at the angles, you probably can hit it anywhere you want. And it should, if you get more than a sliver, it should pass the red ones. Leave you lying 5 or 6 if you stick around. And here we go, a control takeout, leaving 5 Russian stones in the house. And Nina Roth will now have to draw the button, score 1, and keep her team in the game.
Well, it's never nice facing 5 at any time, is it?
It isn't, no.
Especially early on when you're maybe not so confident about the draw weight.
She has one advantage going for her. She just played it raw, so in fact she just has to repeat her shot, and then she should be fine.
The Russians have not left her anything to draw to, so it's wide open air behind where you're drawing to. If you're too hard, you'll just sail through.
All good. Feels like more. 6. Feels like more. 6. Feels like more. Still running.
To be careful here. Sweepers are on it, off it, on it.
Which is normally a good sign.
Weight's great.
Yeah.
T.
Whoa.
Weight's good. Fine. Shit.
Here we go, nice draw under pressure.
Yes, well played, Nina Roth against 5. So 1 shot to the US. Facing 5 Russian counters. They'll narrow the score here in the second end to 2-1. And the advantage of last stone will go back to Moiseeva and her team, heading for end 3.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That was. Did I?
Surprise. Did you get a long time on her first one?
14.7. But I mean,
Makes
it
sense,
was
top
along
eight.
the 4-foot line, not 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3.
So third end, Becca Hamilton throwing the first stone for Team Nina Roth from the United States.
Hold it.
Right to center. Eileen. Eileen, gotta go. Eileen. 3. Gotta go right here.
Yep, Eileen, you can go. You can go, yep.
Get it to center.
Hurry. Hurry.
Get it to center. Yep.
Go hard, Eileen.
Yep.
Yep. Finish hard.
Yep.
Right seat, guys. Is that a 20?
30.
It's faster. I can throw that.
Yeah.
That
I was
then,
scared
right?
for a second. See you later.
That it wasn't over?
Yeah.
You guys look like you handled it pretty well.
So the centre guard from Hamilton, and Moiseeva quite happy to call her lead player to try to draw around that to the top of the 4-foot circle.
Yes, she's one up, so she's happy to play into the rings and making life hard for the Americans. The Americans not having last stone, for them it is now important that play will center around the center of the house. And you always need 1 or 2 guards in front.
Gotta go, Eileen. Lean on it.
And that way you can aim for a steal.
Go!
Tight. Get goal.
Again, a little bit too much curl.
Yep, that's the second time I've seen that from the Roth team.
See? 9-5.
Four of our shots now.
Eileen Giving now with the chance to roll behind the... Well, it's not a center guard anymore, but it's still usable.
Hurry! Go! Yes! Hard.
Looks a little bit tight to the line. That's why they're sweeping it hard, trying to hold the stone in the house. It will curl too much.
Everybody move their hips a little bit.
Was it the ice? Or
Jesus
is it...
Christ.
I know, that's 4 now.
Да, не давали вам.
Нет, сильно.
Well, just running out, that gives Roth a little opportunity.
Не валит так сильно.
She can now draw around the yellow guard and give the Russians a task.
95.
Here we go, sweepers right on it.
3.
Looks a little bit short.
Hard, bring it around. Line's perfect. 4. Line's really good. Come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Push. Hard, Eileen. 4, 5. Hard. Stay on it, Eileen. 5. Stay on it, Eileen. Fully.
Very
Yep,
nice
yep,
line.
Yep. Come on. Go.
Good
Go.
sweeping.
Every inch. Yep. Very nice. Atta girl tabs.
Here we go. Tabitha Peterson can definitely say thank you to her 2 sweepers who dragged that rock into the house.
Well, she got a good looking line on that one. Came past the guard nicely and lies behind it. It's probably about 2 meters from it, but it's so chance to take both of these away, just not quite making it.
And the Americans are now going to replace that guard and defend their stone in the house.
Line's good.
Can they get the right line for this all-important shot for them?
Eileen. 1, 2. Line's really good. Got to curl a little bit.
They don't want this guard to be too close to the one in the house, Michael, I don't think.
No, I think you want it about halfway in the free guard zone, more or less where it ended up. Could have curled a little bit more to cover the stone.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't want to get too close, because otherwise you risk the Russians playing a double takeout on it. Russia now with the takeout.
Having a go at the raise here.
I think so. Now, since that yellow stone is still in, this gives Nina Roth a chance to draw around the red stone and place a better shot stone. Of course, if she's gets the line absolutely right, she will be covered by her own guard as well, forcing the Russians to make a play into the house, maybe.
Full forfeit. Yep, same weight, even thrown. 4-0. Same as you draw, you got it. 4-0.
So the first stone here for Nina Roth in this third end of play. They're playing from the home end, where we are behind to the away end of this 8-sheet hurling emporium in Bern, one of the best clubs in Europe in terms of facilities. Could be the best club in Europe, actually. So really important to
get past. Just rubbing off the guard again.
Well, she was really quite lucky not to do more damage, because the red guard is still
Why do we wait so long?
quite useful in protecting her own stone in the house.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of shots you have to make if you're going to be in at the death this weekend, I think, Michael.
I think so, yes. If you want to play tomorrow morning, then especially if you're going up against the reigning European champion, then you need to take the chances you get.
Просто если я сейчас не задену, мне вот этот задену, или открытый поставлю, мне потом сложно будет в центр прийти, не особо есть выход. Либо если этот задену, тоже
So now there's a bit of discussion with the Russians.
если мы это пробьем, она повезет вот сюда.
Thing is that stone Nina Roth just played lies in front of the house and in fact serves as a second guard. The Americans are looking at it. They are discussing whether they can push the red stone far enough into the 12-foot circle so that they would actually lie two shots. So they're going to play a hack weight, they said.
It didn't curl till the very end.
So a soft weight that just stops at the hack, basically, of the other side, about a meter too long if you wouldn't have an opposition stone to act as a break.
So the last stone of this end for the US team, they've got to connect with that Russian counter, get it moved, or else they're facing losing 2 here.
Hack! Close!
Clean, clean.
Yep! Clean, yep! Whoa! Hack! Yep! Hack! Whoa! Hack! Yep! Whoa! No! No! Whoa!
What the fuck? Right.
Just didn't curl enough. So now the Russians will play exactly the same stone as they have just played.
Hack right away.
They need to hit anywhere in the white paint to get a score of 2 here in the third end.
So Vita Moiseeva, her last stone here in this third end. They lead 2 shots to 1. Chance to go 4-1 up if she can make this one count. I think she's got a good line. She's going to get into the white 8-foot area.
Looks very controlled by the sweepers.
So a great shot there from Victoria Moiseeva. Lovely draw, and the brave first shot was enough to allow them to pick up 2 points here in the third end and put them into a commanding 4-1 advantage at this early stage in the game.
Yeah. You're doing what you do. You like yours?
Did you tell them about hips?
On intern side, we need to move our hips. Nobody's hitting that. Intern? Or out turn. This side. That side of the sheet. Nobody's hitting the room.
Okay.
Okay? Thanks. You as well.
Yeah, she knows. She hit the broom nicely on that one, but it was
A lot of weight.
forward weight. Yeah, it was like way more than back line.
Yeah. Such a good
What
one.
did-
Nice shot!
Ой, широко!
Nice shot!
Давайте обязательно! Обязательно хотя бы ближний. Да-да-да.
So we are back in the fourth end.
Давай, 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 давай.
The Russians leading 4-1. Vita Moiseeva playing against Nina Roth from the US at the Bernese Ladies Cup 2017 in Bern. It is 4-1 may seem like quite a big lead, but however there is nothing lost yet for the Americans. If they can hit back, score 2, give the Russians 1, score 2 again,
Got a curl.
then they have an even score. And if you go on like that, then you win the game.
Tab, you can go.
15-8.
Hard, yep.
Good.
You're exuding lots of confidence in the US team here, Michael. I think they need to up their game quite significantly because they're being well beaten at the moment. Russians playing good game, solid shot play. And Nina Roth in particular just playing some loose shots, and it costs you.
I agree. They have so far. The Russians have been the better team. However, if they can actually get into the game a bit more, then the Americans could still make a game out of it. Seeing that we have seen some mistakes from the Russians as well, not many, but there were a couple of opportunities.
Enough. Yeah.
I think part of it as well, mind you, is what mistake is being made. If the shot is a relatively simple shot and you're making errors with those shots, given that we've been playing for pretty much 2 solid days with lots of games, You shouldn't really be doing that. You should be making more shots than they are at the moment.
Yep, Tab.
I agree.
Yep, gotta be back here. Gotta be right here. Gotta be here. Come on.
Hurry!
Gotta get out of the way.
Harriet! Yep!
Go, go, go.
Yep!
Nice job.
Here we go. Nice draw.
Yeah, nice shot there.
And Vita Moiseeva is not going to hesitate. She's going to remove that guard. She's 3 shots up, so there's no need for her to have any guards lying in front.
Пока со своими. Нет. Молодец.
That was well played.
And the Americans, they were now going to replace that guard.
And they have to keep doing that probably at the moment, unless the Russians manage to lift both the stones. They need to be careful to place this in the right place. If you're too close to the house and allowing a good chance of a double, that's not good.
Exactly, and if you're too far away with the swing the ice has, then
Yep, Tab.
you will...
That's not good either.
Exactly, yeah.
Whoa, whoa. 3. Whoa. 2. Whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
That's great. Nice work.
Well, that's quite a nice one.
That's it.
Here we go. Another takeout.
Да-да-да. Да-да-да. Хорошо, вроде хорошо.
Nicely done. Always makes your life easy if your skip asks you to throw exactly the same stone again.
Yeah, that was well played. And Roth indicating yet again for the same shot.
Whoa.
3.
This might look easy to do, but to place it in exactly the right position all the time is really, it can be quite tough. If it over curls an inch or two, then it opens the way in for the Russians.
And as
Really.
Atta girl.
Here we go. Sweeper stayed right off that one because it came a little bit close. Oh, here we go. That's Coach Anne Swisshelm. Looking concentrated on her computer.
She looks as if she knows what she's doing.
She's been in plenty of such situations herself.
Yes.
Да-да-да. Да-да-да-да-да-да-да.
Есть.
О, хорошо. Да-да-да. Давай.
The guard removed once more.
And you will see yet again the guard going up by the Americans.
Perfect team.
So the US here, they're trying to get 2 shots back, Michael.
They
This
are.
end. Yep.
And they will probably go on, throw another guard after this. The Russians will remove it again.
Let it work.
And then at some point,
Mine's better. Yep.
you will have to decide
2.
if you're Russia,
Oh, hi, 2.
whether you will
Little bit.
leave the guard and
Side.
go
Want a little bit or no?
into the house, trying to
Nice shot.
score 1 or limit the US to 1.
25th.
Now this one
Yeah, 33.
is, it's rather nicely placed. I think you could maybe get around it, but the Russians, as they are up, they will three stones up. They will just remove the guard. No need to play any complicated shots here.
Sweep. Sweep.
Whoa.
О, есть.
Repeating the shot, almost exactly the same every time, halving the stone into the barrier, running
Exactly.
their own shooter across the front of their own 2 stones.
Exactly. And the thing is, as you pointed out, placing the guard at exactly the same spot is rather hard. And hitting, you have to be precise as well, but the margin of error is slightly bigger, I would say, because whether you hit it exactly in the same spot or slightly to the left or right, in this situation, doesn't matter that much.
High line.
Important thing is that both stones
2.
get out.
2.
Lean hard. Gotta go.
Hurry, gotta get over.
Gotta get it over.
Here we go.
Well, this one looks as if it's curling a bit more.
Curling more, and it's a bit short. So now we may see the Russians attacking the yellow shot stone in the house directly.
The first one was not on there.
They're certainly thinking about it.
They are, and as they have pointed, you can't see it, but we can see they have pointed to the roll. And if Vita Moiseeva can hit that yellow stone and roll behind her own red shots, then she really puts the pressure on Nina Roth and her team, because then she may even get into position to steal one or several shots in this end.
Внимание! Все нормально.
Воу! Воу! Поднять, поднять. Нет, нет, нет.
I think she's going to get it, but maybe not stick. Yep.
Yep. So now the questions that Team USA is facing is whether to draw behind their guard, which is rather a long way in front of the house, or try another path and get behind the two red stones. It's certainly swinging enough that you can get cover, look for cover behind the red stones. However, you need to be careful with the angles so that the Russians cannot just play a promotion takeout onto their own stone and remove the yellow one in the back.
Still 4.
Yeah, and it ran pretty straight right here. Way more than that. Do you think so?
Yeah.
So a lot of discussion about
might be
where to
fine.
place the broom.
Might be okay. We'll just keep it. Yeah, we're good.
And because she's drawing behind opposition stones and not her own, she absolutely can't draw too much and catch them. She must get round. Of course, when that situation, you're faced with that situation, you're liable maybe to allow a little bit too much ice to make sure you get round, and then, of course, it's open for the opposing team to deal with more easily. So this has to be accurate.
Exactly, and there's not a lot of room. It needs to be the right weight so that the sweepers can concentrate on the line.
The prize is great if she can make this right round behind.
Only for line. Line's okay. 7.
So Nina Roth trailing 4-1. If she gets a good line here,
6.
she might get the chance to pick up 2.
There yet.
Oh, she desperately needs to make this shot. She's got a great line.
All the way.
Hard.
All the way.
Line is really good.
Great shot.
Finishes just behind the tee, unfortunately, but the line may be enough to allow her the chance for the 2 coming back. So now over to Russia to see what they're going to do with that. I think the shot is to follow exactly the one that was played, but I don't know. What do you think?
I tend to agree. We don't see the angles from the player's perspective, but looking at the picture here, it seems that if you hit the red stones, you risk that you will fly past the yellow one. So the easier stone would certainly be to follow down, and even if you don't make it, if you just touch the 4-foot circle, you will make it rather difficult for the US to score 2. However, the Russians have decided they will go for the takeout. They'll probably need to hit only a fraction, maybe a quarter or a third of the first red one, and try to push it across the top of the second red one so that the second red one goes a bit straighter and onto the yellow one.
Are you good at reading the angles, Michael?
Let's see whether it works out.
Yes, we don't have to wait long.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nicely done.
Yes.
So now there's only one stone left, and I expect that we will see a clearing, and the Americans going for a clear house. So then one take the score so that they can keep hammer in the fifth end. Or at least that's what I would expect to see.
Yes, I'm sure that's the plan. So Nina Roth, last stone in the fourth end. This is the halfway point in these games. Hoping to hit and roll out. Give the blank end, take the blank end opportunity and hold the last stone advantage in the hopes to score 2 points in the next end. So with that shot, the score remains at 4-1 in favour of Russia's Moiseeva team as we go into the second half.
A little away from the wall, see if that'll move a little bit. Okay. Although yours weren't moving very much. Those straws.
Я не это имела в виду. Ладно, я поняла. Пока вылет. Конец, конец. Хотя нет, если что, вроде линия хорошая. Окей, Ульяна. Не, нельзя, нельзя, нельзя. Лучше выше. Нет, сзади. Стой. Молодец.
So if you're just joining us in this evening game here in Bern at the Bern Ladies Cup, a very warm welcome.
Line's good.
We're watching the matchup between Russia and the US teams.
Need a two.
Vita Moiseeva, current reigning European champion,
Keep it going.
and Nina Roth and her US team.
Hard, guys. Yep, right here.
And the winner here will qualify through to the quarterfinals to be played tomorrow morning, 8:30 local time here in Bern. And the loser will drop into the C Road. We're in the B Road final games here. C Road gives you another opportunity to get into these quarterfinals if you can win that game. But a more enjoyable evening can be had if you can win this game, and then you don't have to play later on.
Exactly.
So that's the prize for these two teams. And I think the play has been a bit more favourable to the Moiseeva team in the first four ends than Roth. They've had a few mistakes, hence the 4-1 scoreline. They need to improve their game if they're going to get past these European champion winning players from Glasgow about 6 weeks ago at the 2016 European Championships.
So now we have seen a change from the last couple of ends. The Russians have decided to throw up a guard and protect their stone, which sits dead right at the center of the house. And now the Americans are forced to play to that stone, but again, this one is just a little bit too heavy, doesn't curl enough, and slides past.
90 and a 13.9.
Yeah. Pull back a hair, but not enough.
Yeah.
Well, the earlier game I saw in some detail involving Moiseeva. She's not afraid to play an offensive game,
Which makes for good viewing.
yes. And actually they're pretty good at it, as their opponents at the Europeans discovered.
Well, the thing is, you're not winning games if you just hit everything out. You're winning games if you get the stones into play. But of course, then you're also taking a risk and you need to execute. Otherwise, the game can turn quickly.
Я не знаю, как я с камня 4-10.
So now we can see that despite being 1-4 down, Nina Roth opts to remove the center guard, which is sensible because the red ones are starting to pile up in the center of the house.
10.
Well, but maybe she needs one of her own in there.
Go behind it.
Yes!
Anyway, Eileen giving. Just caught so little of it, it hardly moved. So, unfortunate shot. Not making their shots, the US, I'm afraid, at this stage. Better start soon, though.
And the Russians, they have smelled blood now, I think.
Yes,
Можно подождать.
I think they have.
Ульяна, вали. Вали, их надо центр зацепить. Давай, давай, супер будет. Давай, да, помочь. Помочь подальше. Давайте, девчонки.
Now the guard, lots of sweeping needed to close the gap.
Молодцы, хороший.
So that guard actually not ideally placed. There is a shot to get rid of everything, but looking at how the US has performed, it's not that easy a shot.
It's pretty thin.
There's a hole.
So,
Play it tight.
Tabitha
It's okay if we get
Peterson
stuck.
saying there's a hole. There is a very tight hole to come through to these.
So hit this one first.
What?
Hit
This one's higher.
What?
No, we
This
can't.
one's higher than this one.
This one's higher. Well, I mean, if we're going to play to get to the port, we're going to roll out.
one and then.
Well, if you make it through the hole, you're probably going to make the double and stick around. But it's a very, very tight hole.
Higher, so I feel like she's gonna go
It
over the
is.
top.
It looks a lot tighter than that.
This one.
The way we're looking at it from the angle, the side of the
Angles the way they are.
sheet makes the hole much bigger than it actually is.
I got all that.
But look at the angle.
We can probably see it from the overhead camera at the other end,
Do you want
If you make it
and
through the
you'll
hole,
see
it's
it's
gonna hit that
hardly the width of a stone.
Well, we can try this.
Yeah.
If you hit those out, that's
We
fine.
hit this super thin.
There we are, it's a good shot of it. Not a lot of space to come through there,
It's gonna go that way. All right, throw peel.
but one thing's for sure, they can't leave these two stones lodged right on the button for very long.
No, they can.
Good.
And as Nina Roth pointed out, if you hit it or if you throw it a little tight and you end up removing the guards, that's not the end of the world either.
Think through the hole. Heel.
Okay, right at her. Kind of wait.
Heel.
So, Eileen giving.
All the way up.
And this one needs to. Ooh, my goodness.
Oh my, I didn't see that coming.
No. I think
The end result is not too bad. They managed to
wow.
remove them a little bit from the.
The unfortunate thing for the US team now, or the Roth team, is both these guards, although they're slightly different places, they're still out there.
Exactly. And especially the left one is going to cause some trouble.
Yes. So advantage Russia, advantage Moiseeva in this end for sure at the moment. I reckon there's not too much damage can be done by having another stone thrown. And trying to come round this guard till I two guarded. Russia lies shots 1 and 2.
Пожалуйста, Галя,
Both of them guarded at the moment.
Да, давай, 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 лучше поставить. Давай, давай.
Here we go, another one.
Можно дальше.
This is a nice shot. A little bit short.
Would have been important to lie better than the yellow stone in the back, so as to count that one.
I have about a quarter of it.
Okay, just back line.
Okay.
And the US team is now aiming to
Clean right away.
come through the port, which has gotten a bit bigger, and pushing the red stone on the center line back into the 12 foot, which is the red circle.
In, close.
Back line.
Whoa, whoa. Stay close. Yep. Wall.
Back line.
In. Close.
Whoa.
Stay close.
Well, it's curling here.
Yep. 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 Right.
Got a good looking shot. She passed the back one.
Atta girl.
Should have been sweeping.
Yes, they just missed the sweep on that one. Hit it a fraction of an inch further to the left, and you're fine.
Nice weight.
Чуть-чуть контакт.
However, now it is not going to be that easy for the Russians to actually remove that stone.
Опять. Я вижу. Да, нам нельзя вот так поставить, будет плохо, только если вот так совсем. Меньше мне не нравится, меньше мы можем просто его вот сюда подвинуть. Нам обязательно нужно его дальше вот этого поставить. Мне больше нравится борт. Может, light board. Окей.
I don't speak Russian, but I imagine they have talked about the weight they want to throw at this.
Yes. There's a chance just to come round and tap this through the gap at the back. That shot is there. Russia would look, Moiseeva team would look in really good shape if they could make it.
Да! Свип! Держать! Не бросать! Не бросать! Давай, ролл, Юль.
Well, mistake there. They needed to get it cleanly out.
That was always going to be the risk.
Yes.
You hitting flat? I think we gotta go this way. You have to
Now
go
a
this way.
chance for the
That's a jam.
team of Nina Roth to put a bit of pressure on the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you
However,
see
if
one
they
here?
hit and roll
9-5's
to
what?
the left, the thing is they will end up behind the T line,
10 or 9-5?
which means the Russians will still have a chance to just come right on top of it and out counting all the yellow stones.
So,
9-5.
a really important shot for Tabitha Peterson at this point.
Hard! Hard!
She must get the hit and roll.
Whoa!
Stick around in the rings.
Roll it. Good shot, Tab.
Well,
Next weight. Good job.
much better if it had gone behind the cover, I think. Because the problem now is there's a good chance for the Russians to do exactly that.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're down to skip stones. The advantage of the last stone in this end, still that of the US team.
Да. Ну, мне, конечно,
One thing, I think this is the first end where we actually see several yellow stones in the house.
контроль,
I think so too, yes.
в принципе, гард довольно высокий, мы обойдем. Давай.
So at this point, Roth lies first and second shot.
And the Russians, they have to be a bit careful. They can only come from the inside at that stone, and
Да.
you have to be a little careful that they curl enough and not jam on the yellow onto the red one.
Средний. Попробуем рольчик туда. Ага. На Юлю. Ага, мы на 8.
So, first of the skip stones for Vita Moiseeva.
Whoa.
Take out on the
Yes, yes, yes.
first counting stone belonging to Nina Roth.
Sweep! Sweep! Roll! Sweep! Да-да-да, roll!
Well, she's just played
Here we
a
go.
fantastic shot. You couldn't place it better. Really excellent play. Rolling in behind the guard.
Well, if we're throwing, like, 'cause this is basically the same shot I just had on my first one.
Yeah.
Like, I can barely see.
And now Nina Roth really has to
Just sit here. Push it right here.
get a good shot out.
I think we play board and we try to hit thinner.
They're discussing that
Yeah.
We can see there just what a good shot that was. The roll in behind that guard, beautifully executed by Moiseeva. She got
Definitely.
it perfectly. Just missed the yellow stone catching on the back stone there on the right hand side and rolling into the position behind these two guards.
Yeah.
Wonderful shot.
Stay on it. Yeah. Right. I mean, you gotta hit about there. With board, it should be okay. How about here's your head.
So the Americans
Wait at
think
it.
with
Not
a
wait, but like,
light takeout,
yeah.
a board weight they call it, they should
Right. Yeah.
should be able to get around the guard. The shot is certainly there, but
Cleaning.
it's
Make it
not
off
easy.
the-
Yeah.
That's what you're aiming to do if you're Russia. Get the
Board.
Americans the hard shots and make it as hard for them or
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
see from this shot just how tough it is. Got to come round the guard, tap the red one through the gap on the left and roll the shooter to the right, hopefully behind that yellow guard of their own. That's the plan. So this shot has to be very accurately executed. So Nina Roth, her first stone in this fifth end.
Board easy. Heck.
And she's struggled a bit in this game, it has to be said. Has to get past the guard. Mustn't catch the guard. She does.
Yes. Hard roll back in.
Needs to roll over, it does too.
great shot. Awesome response to Vita Moiseeva's stone. And the Americans are now lying two. Yes, it's two shots.
Sorry, it comes so natural.
And Moiseeva is now going to have to draw. They're discussing two possibilities. I think the sensible thing would be to draw onto the shot stone, lock onto that one that Nina Roth just played.
Ну, если мы там не пройдем, то же самое. Сюда мне не нравится.
Here we go. They are discussing also the other possibility of drawing to the right-hand side. However, I think if you keep in mind where the guards are positioned, the easier shot will be to draw to the left.
О, смотри.
85. Начало, да.
So I think this is an interesting choice, coming around on the outside.
Ну, да, центр. Как бы можно,
If you get to
но
shot
вот этот
position,
удар, он очень высоко
it's
стоит.
fine.
Между ними расстояние не такое большое,
But
а Валя там
you risk getting three here.
Нолик в начале был. Давай
9, 8, 5.
5.
Окей. Вначале не брать, ждать.
Да. Хороший вес.
So last stone here then for
Ждать.
Moiseeva.
Внимание.
And you'll remember at the beginning of this end, the Russians taking the risk here of an attacking end.
Давай, давай, давай.
try. Caught on the guard. And now the question is, how much of the yellow can you see?
Well,
Just draw. Like sure.
The thing is, you can draw into the 4-foot circle and you get 3.
or you can come from left to right, tap that yellow one out onto the red, and
Exactly.
get 4.
For that one, I was about
Exactly. If you get the line right, play a back line, little less, and then you only need to move it half a stone, and then you get 4.
I
For sure.
think we take our
100%.
I think there with backline.
The difficult thing here always is not to overthrow the stone,
I won't be too heavy.
because if you play more weight, it will curl a little less.
I think it'll move nice. You saw
And if you
Tab
play
Yeah,
it a
Tab
little
moves
bit
nice.
heavier,
It's just
you
on the center line,
absolutely
so let's
need
keep
to
an
make
eye out.
contact.
Well, this situation really came
Just backline.
about
You get it.
with that super shot of Nina Roth's with her first stone here. At that point, it still looked favourable to the Russians. This is the first end that they've really faced any
Please more Tab.
Need to buff
real
it, the red
pressure.
one out.
So last stone here in the 5th end. Nina Roth trailing 4 shots to 1. Big chance though
Wait
to
for
make
me, guys.
a 4-pointer here.
Easy back.
Yes, Eileen.
Eileen, yep, fine.
Not a lot of weight, but she doesn't need to move the red Russian stone very far to get her 4 points. Is she on line with it? She is.
And she is.
So my goodness, wasn't a big weight, but the prize was great. 4 shots to Nina Roth in the 5th end. And a big comeback for them to lead 5-4 going into the 6th.
I know.
Nice job, back.
82. Yeah, really nice.
Good job, guys. Way to go for
Two
it.
beautiful shots, I mean.
Yeah.
Nice job, everybody.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Просто повнимательнее, да, если есть ошибка, можно выше оставить, не нужно вести подвозку там. Или если гард, можно в гард ошибиться, лучше гард. Ну просто эти ворота там не привезли ничего, и получается было вообще. Было же поставить просто спрятать это. Oh no.
So end number 6 of the 8 ends of regulation play is about to start. Nina Roth will commence,
4-0, 405.
having scored that awesome 4-pointer.
Top 4.
Felt good, guys. Felt
Line's
good.
good.
This was an interesting end. It was looked like it all went for the Russians, and then
She gave it a lot.
all it took was one shot to really turn the end around.
14-3.
Will be interesting to see whether they can keep the momentum going now.
Yeah.
Atta girl, back. Nice job.
And now suddenly it's the turn of the Roth team to throw the stones in the house. I must say, I think if I was Vita Moiseeva at this point, I'd be feeling a little bit, as we would say in Scottish, hardly done by. Like making all the play and suddenly on, you know, really one. It's not, well, her last stone was a failed shot, but other than that, it took one really good stone from Roth and the whole end was transformed, giving the 4-pointer. Up to this point, if you were taking percentages of this game, the Russians would be in the lead, I think, shot for shot, by quite a margin. However, this is a curling game.
Yep. Okay. Try not to
Oh, definitely, and
hold it.
as many curlers know, the game is over once you cannot mathematically win anymore.
Wait, felt good. Whoa.
beforehand, there's always a chance of
Gotta get off that rock.
turning it around.
Really tight. 4. It's a 4.
Coming down. A little rub. Oh, nope, we missed the rub. 16. That's good, that's good. Yep.
So they had to wait here until the stone was past the red guard. But still, covers about half of their shot stone, so that's all right.
So Yulia Gusieva, her second stone in this sixth end for Russia.
Кто с весом? Надо. Свип! Свип! Воу! Фриз! Воу! Не дотрем тогда. Нам не нужен фриз. Галя, свип! Свип!
They've decided to come down onto the yellow stone.
А как мы его доставать будем?
Didn't quite make it to the stone, but still it's in the 4 foot in front of the tee line.
And there we have the Russian coach, Sergei Belanov, on the left. I wonder what he's thinking. Looked quite stern, didn't he?
Oh,
I'm not coming in.
I imagine he would not be happy with the last end.
We're saying if we put up 2 guards, they're gonna have to play a shot at something. You know what I mean? Make them make the move at those rocks. I just want to set up an easy.
Yeah.
way.
I don't want to set up an easy double peel. If we double peel, I mean, that's going to be difficult. We're going to lose everything, and then they're going to have
want anything that high.
Wouldn't you like
Probably
the corner
not.
freeze to it?
So,
I like the freeze.
Because if we come around it not far enough, then they have the double that way. Get both those out to go behind the corner, right?
right.
I'm okay with
I like the
Even
corner
if we're
freeze.
just like half around.
Yeah. Top 8 in there.
Right.
Yeah. Do it ideally, but
Let's go.
Yes,
think
enough of
that
that.
is frozen.
Let's get on with it.
We'll make it there, but anything closer, they have the double. And
Sometimes I think when 4 players come together at an early stage of an end,
yeah.
the skip
I don't want to leave a high guard out there.
departs the scene more confused than when she arrived.
Yep.
But she seemed to be happy with the decision there, Nina.
Line's great.
So this is Eileen giving.
3, 2.
Well then. Whoa.
2. It's
Whoa.
light.
It'll be there.
Whoa.
3, 4, 5,
Whoa.
5. Nina,
Yes,
back
yes,
up.
then come.
Right. 4.
Right to it.
5.
Line's perfect. Line's perfect. Hold on. It's okay. Whoa. Good job.
I'm like, back up.
Not sure whether it actually was the call.
No, after all that discussion, I wasn't sure either. I was hoping you might know. But it's maybe not a bad shot there. In theory, the US should be keeping this
Колодка.
4-foot circle wide open.
А? Ну вот так и чуть поменьше. Колодка.
But sometimes you can get to a stage where if your stone's lying in the back there behind all sorts of guards and the raise isn't there, you can just sometimes guard up and hope for the best.
Свип! Свип! Воу! 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 Воу, легче. Легче.
Here we go, quiet takeout,
Да-да-да.
rolling to the wings.
Good shot there from
Hit and roll. We can do a lot.
Arsenkina.
I don't mind sitting there. Yeah.
9-5.
Okay.
Stick around.
Yeah.
Clean. Whoa. Whoa.
9-5. A little up. 9-2. Come on.
Nice throw. Good throw, Eileen.
And that stone just rolls right to the extremities of the house.
Да, я понимаю.
So if you're Russia, the question is, what do you do now? The thing is, your own red is actually in the way at the moment.
Надо свой свой.
То же самое.
And so Vita Moiseeva has decided to remove the guard and probably roll into the house.
Мне нравится то, что если мы даже его просто снимем, я так не смогу прыгнуть.
I think this would be the sensible call.
I think so too. The
Мы хотя бы
4-foot
поднимем
circle
этот
isn't lying favourably for the Russians here,
возможность что-то
and
делать.
they've gone part way to opening things up. I think they should keep going. A good shot is a hit and roll to keep their shooter in play,
Ну и ладно.
take that guard out of play.
Ну ладно.
Exactly, and then you roll to the right, and you have a tight corner guard, which you may use at the later stage.
Мне больше так нравится.
One thing that is to be kept in mind is it's the 6th end, and since this is 8-end play, the Russians would like to score here, keep the even ends, force the Americans to score in the 7th, and then have the hammer coming home in the 8th end.
Свип! Это очень сильно! Окей.
So second shot here for Arsenkina.
Пока свой. О,
Oh dear, that's not the plan. Well, just getting
Yeah.
a bit flustered, but there's no need to be flustered. They've got good control of this game if they just,
Keep
despite losing the 4.
Exactly. You're still trailing one behind. You're playing well. Just keep making the simple shots. You should be all right. But then if you miss shots like these,
It also gives your opponent confidence.
it does, yes.
2, 2.5, 2, 3.
So
It's going in.
score
It's going in.
5-4 in favour of Nina Roth.
14-9.
And we're on the first stone of the third players here.
Yep, yep, yep. Yep, hard.
This stone also coming a lot further than they wanted it to come.
Yeah, set up the double, I think.
Давай ноликом. Да, еще надо вот этот вот. Свип! Свип! Воу!
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 Галя! Галя!
Чуть-чуть еще. Да-да-да. Да-да-да-да-да-да-да. Окей.
Here we go. Just removing one. And as the angles lie, the US can now hit and roll behind their guard. However, you need to be careful not to overcurl. If you hit it a little bit too thick, then you will end up losing your shot stone. Or worse, locking the red one on.
Back up. Back up.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Turning all the way up.
Stuck in my pocket.
Choose.
Here we go, that's all right.
Trying to think what that rock's done before, Tab. What's that rock
US
done
line
before?
2 at the moment, and the Russians now
Trying to think of the last draw I was on.
having a go at
When's the last time we drew?
rolling across.
Yep, chance to hit and roll behind the guard, as we saw from that shot.
Помягче. Свип! Воу! Воу! Воу!
О, ничего! Галя!
Да-да-да.
Now the chance falls to the US Roth team. They can do the same thing. Put a little bit of pressure on here. They don't have the last stone, so if they can hit and roll and lie covered in the 4-foot circle,
That would certainly be.
it's a great opportunity for them.
It is, and seeing that the red stone is lying a little bit in front of the tee line, even with the roll, you will end up in front of the tee line, meaning the Russians cannot draw up to it.
All right, Nate, let's go.
So a big chance to put some pressure on here, so you can get the roll just right.
Get over.
This needs to curl quite a bit to roll, I think.
Yes. It's coming now,
10-5.
but didn't curl enough.
Wait, was good. 10-5. 10-5.
So now the same opportunity is afforded to Moiseeva. She can put behind her the disappointment of the last end, play a really good shot here, rolling behind that US stone. There's only 3 stones remaining, 2 for her and 1 for Roth. So if she can nail this behind that guard out in front, albeit it belongs to the US team, she could have a chance to pick up 2 here.
This one again needs to curl.
It's a little less weight, so they get more action on the stone, more movement on it. It's looking pretty good. Oh, great shot.
Good roll, yeah.
Just having the courage to reduce the weight a little bit. And with it, she gets the prize of the controlled roll in behind the guard.
No, I think edge of rock, throw a 9.
So the only thing left to do now for the Americans is the raise takeout with their own guard. The Russians knew this was always going to be there, but how on this ice it is fairly swingy. It is not the easiest shot to make,
The last one was at 10-5.
even if the distance isn't that great or that big.
So if Nina Roth doesn't make this shot and misses the raise, it'll be a free draw for 2 for Moiseeva. Think back a shot, and if Roth had made the roll in behind the guard, things would have been a whole lot different. So important here is the line. Needs to get perfect line to raise this shot.
Back up. Get it.
Touched the shot,
Ray was
but
good.
just probably 1 or 2 centimeters, and it would have been the shot.
But that miss gives Moiseeva the chance, a free draw to the whole house for 2 points in the 7th end to take a 1-shot lead going home.
Полностью нет, это сильно. Нет, нет, нет. Полностью.
She's got plenty of weight, I think.
О, поднять, поднять.
This one needs to stop, surely.
It does.
Is it going to stick around or is it going out? It's going out. Oh no, it's not. My goodness.
Could be a measure.
Well, well. Well, Moiseeva has, I think she's going to get the point here, but she's played so nicely up till this end before last, the end before this. But she's definitely flustered after losing the 4.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, the thing is, if as a skip you miss and you cause your team to get 4, that can chew off your confidence.
And in this Bern Ladies Cup, we don't have the luxury of umpires waiting to come and measure stones for you. You have to do it yourself. Some would say that's a very good idea, but we'll see what happens here. These stones are right in the extreme of the measure, so there's going to be a little bit of adjustment required here. That bit at the end has to get moved in so that it can slide past the stones on the inside. That's it, well done.
Нет, все правильно.
Got it right, and then this measuring device has to come along.
Давай, я померю.
Major engineering process here.
Dad, you want to come
Then we're finally going to get to measure. And they have done a great job, these girls, of keeping their head out of the way so as we can see. Very good. Can we see how much movement there is? None by the looks of things. To go a bit closer. Oh, there we are. Well, that yellow stone of the US is in the house just.
Like chat here, there.
So that moved about 3 points. This one's going to move more, I think. Can we see it? Well, I think it did move more.
Ладно, хлопнемся, я туда пойду.
The thing is, if not the umpire is measuring, but the teams, you cannot tell which one is closer by the stone they throw out.
No.
Normally the umpire would remove the stone that is farther away from the house, but here, as the teams measure themselves, they just agree and then get rid of all the stones at the same time. So we will have to wait for the scoreboard to see which one was closer.
Whichever one it was, they were not close to each other because they took one look at it and decision was made.
Started to do that without you, the two of them, and I was like,
There was no coming back again to the first one.
in fact, we started without them. I was like,
Measure back to its parking place on the wall.
shoot, I thought Nina had that run. No, I was back here when I started.
Шестой. 6.
Покати шире.
Пока сам. Сабит.
Да, надо, чтобы... Хорошо, только если в самом конце. Мне кажется, нельзя. Не-не-не, лучше. Супер, молодец. Уль. Спасибо.
So,
Thanks for kind
like
of going
that?
into their rocks then.
it was indeed 2 points.
We talked corner, right?
The 2 gets posted onto the board.
You guys like the corner better?
Score now 6-5 in favour of
Corner. I like the corner, I think.
Vita Moiseeva. So she had the whole house to draw to, and she needed the whole house.
Yeah.
And some.
There was a short discussion between the American team whether to draw around that center guard or throw a corner guard. They have opted to go for the corner guard.
Gotta be tight.
Come on, guys.
Hurry, Eileen.
Looking at the score, that's certainly correct. They are trailing
Keep going,
1
make it even better.
point.
Go, 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 go. Make it better. Go, go, go,
And assuming
Go, go, go.
that the team with last stone will be able to score, the Americans will have to steal an end, whether it is the 8th end or the extra end, doesn't really matter. So from my point of view, I like the call to try and get 2 here in the 7th.
Чуть шире.
Сначала.
I would agree with that, Michael.
Сначала. Мне кажется, надо.
Да, Ульяна, пока очень широко. Давайте, затираем.
Well, they are going for it, having a go at
buried in.
both teams looking to see if they can do something in this end.
Kind of takes.
With the score as tight as 6-5,
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like this or do you like this?
there's all to play for.
All right, let's just go here.
I figure we're probably gonna teal these, yeah?
What?
Probably.
Okay, so do you
Either
want-
way.
Okay.
So they have decided to ignore their own corner guard and go behind the center.
Oh.
6.
Close.
Line's great.
Yep.
Yep. Hurry.
The thing is, if you do that,
7.
at some point you will probably they will remove the red stones.
Back here.
So to keep the center open, and then you will have left your own shot open.
Yep.
Well, not
Great job,
bad.
Becca.
A shot more or less made there. Probably see about a third of it from the position in the hack if you're going to play the next shot, which
Ну, давай попробуем.
Galina Arsenkina is going to do.
Растолкаем гарды. 6.
Легко. Свип. Свип. Сильнее. Воу. Свип. Свип.
Well, this one's heading for the guards. Is she going to get past?
She is.
Оу.
That's a nice shot.
Yes, nicely played.
Молодец, Галь.
Опять толкнулась, ты такая... Опять толкнулась сильно и такая...
So we can look from the high camera here, and she's aiming for hit and roll in behind her corner guard, I think.
Give a little.
Eileen Geving.
Oh, no, no, no,
I'm not sure actually.
Do you wanna go?
Only a 4.
Looking from how she slid
no,
out,
she's
it's,
not.
it's a draw.
Yes,
no. Whoa, up.
my mistake.
Close. Yep, yep,
Trying to repeat the previous shot.
yep.
You wanna go?
Hard. Hard. Line's great. Keep it coming. 8 foot, 8 foot, 8 foot. Yep, yep, yep.
Not quite so good though. I couldn't sweep that too much because it was very, very close to the short yellow stone. Ended up being short. Could have done with that being another meter into the house, or half a meter anyway.
Done.
Сейчас, да, не сказала.
Second stone here in the 7th end for Arsenkina.
Внимание. Нет, Уля.
Looking for a soft takeout. Nicely done. Sticks around in the rings. And now the Americans will have to decide whether they go all in that end, or whether they want to keep the blank end open. Although that could already be quite difficult, seeing that both red stones on the wings are counting. So now they have decided to
95.
draw to the wings behind their
What was that?
corner guard. I'm not sure why they're now changing the strategy.
No, I'm not sure either.
Line's great.
Great. Lateral.
Line's good. Here it
Lateral.
comes. Full 8 foot. Here it comes. Full 8 foot. Gotta be full 8 foot.
I suppose it keeps the stone
Back up.
away from the
Back up.
centre line or centre of the
Oh,
house
here.
more than it would if you were going the other way.
Yep. 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 Full. Gotta be full. Gotta be full. Okay, that's good.
This one pulling up short. Another 30 centimeters and it would have been shot stone. But it is behind the guard.
Его можно снять в дырку, но они все равно туда пойдут. Сейчас им сложно. Единственное, да, у них вот этот есть здесь.
So now it's time for a little team conference with the
Я подумала, они
The Russian
устраивают
team?
собрание, мы тоже будем.
just the third.
Сюда, в принципе, у них подвозится.
Discussing options.
Да. Пусть она, ну, как бы сама сначала что-то сделает. Там можно попасть в дырку, но, как бы, да, я говорю, они все равно туда полезут. Здесь, в принципе, мы знаем.
Толкать, вот даже, ну, я вот этот крайний буду толкать. Если даже чиркнуть чуть верхний, все равно потом толкну тоже.
Ты о чем?
Оттолкать красный камень. Вот два красных
Зачем?
камня. Ну, потому что вот так вот завести.
Ну, можно, если что,
А ты имеешь в виду,
задеть
что
и
если мы
отыграться,
здесь будем завозить,
оставить себе на
Нет,
тэп.
вот так
Так,
завозить.
здесь же мы знаем, как вести. Помнишь, я тогда везла? В принципе, он заходит там. Ну, красный можно толкнуть. Единственное, мы, ну, только если совсем хорошо пройдем. Если мы чуть-чуть в край, то как бы особо это... Ну, либо то, что они будут теперь разведены,
Нет, если
и
гордон
хотя бы потом на
ставите
атаку будут
тэп.
стоять.
Просто они сейчас вот такие стоят, ну, никому не нужны.
Мне вообще нравится сюда попробовать. Нет? Ладно, давай тэпнем, даже если они будут отсюда
Мне
возить,
тэп
у нас
сейчас не
атака
очень
будет.
нравится.
Давай.
So, now what?
I don't speak Russian, but I think the call is to promote the red guard on the right-hand side. Just push that in a little bit.
She hasn't got a lot of ice if she's going to do that. I think it could curl a bit more than she thinks.
Probably, yeah.
Out here.
Also, I'm not quite sure. I will probably have removed the guard.
Yeah, the yellow guard.
The yellow guard away, it's a
Yeah.
much easier shot, and you can give the Americans one in this. Then you come have an even score coming home with hammer. That's fine. And looking at that, it didn't curl enough. And now the Americans have a hit and roll. And they may, if they get the angles right, they get the double out of it.
They might, but the roll to the left behind that long guard on the left hand, or longish guard on the left-hand side, would be the best part of the shot, I think. The roll is important.
Definitely, yeah.
Hurry! Hard! You got it for the roll!
She's going to get it pretty full on, I think. Not much roll. Is it enough?
That's great.
Don't think it is. Melee lie first shot. Stone on the left could be first shot. So another inch or two behind that guard, and it would have been really perfect.
Мне кажется, так безопаснее. Через гард. Через гард безопаснее, мне кажется.
Да, если что, вот так.
Ну, да.
0.
And now the Russians are going for the run back. Red onto yellow.
Uliana Vasileva.
This one curling a lot.
So the miss. US now lying 2 in the front 8-foot and 12-foot circles. Both of them able to be used in different ways. So I can see again the raise not successful. Had to catch the other side and get in amongst the yellow stones belonging to Roth.
I still think
Roth is now having a close look,
hitting it.
seeing whether she's lying shot stone or not. The thing is, it's not that easy to get to that red stone.
But I don't want to set up like another run.
Okay. Yeah, we like that. Nine five.
Quite a good shot would be to hit that red stone that she's next to there, roll in behind towards the centre of the house.
The top one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the bottom one. The one in the house.
Yes.
Yep.
That would be the perfect shot.
Not too easy with the guard out in front, and well, Have to be very accurate on the line, but I think it's there.
Yep.
So Tabitha Peterson at third, going for this.
Little roll. Yep.
She got it.
Here we go. Very good shot.
Yes, well played.
Great weight. 9-5. Good throw. Good shot.
That was a tough one. Well executed. Not too much space to use there.
Просто может еще как-нибудь, ну вот так.
Now the Russians have a slight problem. There's still a yellow guard out, so the double isn't there.
And a shot or two ago, Michael, they had the chance to get rid of that yellow guard.
Exactly.
Bet they were thinking just now how much they would have liked to have done that now anyway.
I think looking from here, what they will do is try to hit it about halfway and then roll in. And you may even catch the back of the yellow stone sitting on the center line. However, for that to happen, you need to pass very close to the guard.
Yes. Probably going to lie. Not the first shot after this, but if she sticks around, maybe the second shot. To catch it quite thick, she has. Didn't miss that by much.
No, she didn't. So we are down to 3 shots, I think.
Yes, 3 more stones in this end, 2 of them from Nina Roth. Well, she could really have done with catching that stone and sticking around in the house, because now it's advantage Roth, Team Roth. They can lock this 4-foot area up, at least as it shows on the left-hand side as we look at it.
Do you think we can get there? Can we get there?
They lie 2.
Look at the angles. I wonder if we're gonna end up here.
What about just hit and roll on this? Is that weird?
I like the tap.
I don't mind the tap. I just don't want to push it over in front of this guy.
Exactly, and I don't want to tap it.
The problem the US is facing here, they would like to lie 3
I think we have
shots,
to block this.
but they fear that Vita
like putting
Moiseeva
another into
may
play.
come down, play more or less the same shot she
Even
just
if I was
played,
here,
and hit and roll
I want to be here.
off the yellow one, which is on the left-hand side of the screen now. And if she hits towards the center,
Like you,
then Nina Roth is going to have a really tough shot with her last one.
I think we're gonna have to skinny that one, like what Becca was saying.
it's not really.
You know what? Let's try here. Like we'll come. Let's just do top full 12.
Yeah, even if she's got a quarter of it, I mean,
That's fine.
yeah.
I like to be touching the 8 so she can't play this again.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm just,
Yeah. If it over curls, that's fine. Let her play the hit and roll.
This is where I had you, right, Beck?
Yeah.
I just don't want to
Right. I think this is good.
So they have decided to play around their own guard, aiming and blocking the way for Moiseeva for her last stone. In an ideal world, they would lie 3rd shot with that rock they just played. However, the line is important.
Is it slowing down at all?
I think a 4-0 is still good.
Yeah, I think 4 is fine still.
4-0 for top house?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll just catch that curl early, sweep it out of hand, and
Yeah. Well, we don't want to hang on the red one.
I know.
So the idea here to come down and
4-0.
pass in between that long yellow guard and the red one straddling the center line.
Exactly, yes. And if you manage to lie 3rd shot, then you're bound to make 2 more or less. If it's just the guard, then you leave the Russians a chance for a double takeout.
So, yep, definitely wants to get into the front of the house here.
Out of hand.
This one curling a lot.
It's not very heavy. She's going to get past this guard. Oh, she is.
She's fast.
My goodness.
Okay. Good.
Well, nicely played. You can follow it if you're Moiseeva. Precisely the same shot. But it's a tight squeeze between these two stones. Doesn't look that tight, but it's you need to be very accurate to get through there.
Думаешь, пройдем? Нам можно сюда упереться.
The thing is, with the pocket they have now created, Moiseeva just needs to draw down onto it, and then she will limit the US to 1, maybe 2, but certainly she will not leave an easy shot if she manages to get into the 4-foot area.
That's why ideally the Roth stone, the last one played, would have been better just biting the 8-foot circle at the front, not any heavier.
I agree, yes.
Можно! Можно!
Yes. Whoa.
Воу, yes!
This one is moving as well, curling a lot.
Делать!
Has she got enough weight? That's the key thing here.
Yeah,
Perhaps
looks a bit slow.
it does.
Давай, лучше поставить! Еще, девки, на
No, it's pretty good.
Давай! Спасибо.
Nice shot.
Nicely done.
So the US do lie 1, but can they make their second shot count here?
They're talking about the skinny double takeout. However, I think that is a rather risky shot.
We take our 2 and
Looking at the score,
Yes, I think it is.
That's more likely.
I think a lot of teams would just opt to draw the 4-foot on the other side, take 2, go into the last end, 1 up, and
Yeah.
take your chances.
I don't even mind throwing it this way.
I mean, what's our goal?
We saw Tab throw it.
Yeah.
Ran straight. I'll hold you. It's up to you, though. Whatever you're comfortable with, Neen.
I don't like it. But I like it inside out. I don't want to catch too much of that and then flop them in.
I mean, if we take, we saw it might come this way.
I think it will be easier to get it this way. The inside out is where it would be more likely to go.
I think inside out goes right into it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than over the top. Accidentally.
Either way,
Yep.
we're just saying we just saw mine outside.
Right.
It just moves harder off that.
Well, they're looking at trying to score 4, I guess, here.
Feel right there.
I can understand the temptation. If you make it, that's the game.
Yes.
I think she's got to play that inside the other way.
But if you don't,
I like the draft.
If you push the red one in,
wait.
then
Yep.
you're up with your back up against the wall. And they have talked about inside out or outside, which is the way they want to go at it. And the difference is if you come from that side, then Nina Roth thinks the chances that she will hit it thin are bigger. And if you want to miss it, you want to miss it on the thin side. If you miss it on the thick side, you will push the red one in. So at the moment we have US lying 1 stone and Nina Roth is going for the double takeout to score 4.
so here we go.
And then go.
Going for this double takeout here in the 7th end.
Hurry.
US team trailing 6-5 before this shot.
Yeah.
This scored a lot more than I thought.
That pick in your hand?
Yeah. I sat under her slider.
So, with that last shot in the 7th end, the score gets all tied up at 6-6, coming home down the last, and Russia's Bita Moiseeva will have the last stone advantage coming home.
Keep making things. Let's keep it up.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Don't be afraid to do like go for a 3 if it is tight.
It's not a 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way to miss it instead of just ticking them in.
Right.
Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was nervous about.
I kind of like the other way. See, look at where she's sweeping.
I like the other turn.
What?
I think I like the other turn.
Первый бал был, не прошел. Да. Да, был. Второй дров.
Side out there.
So if you're just joining us, this is a live coverage of the International Bernese Ladies Cup from Bern in Switzerland. We are in the 8th end of the B final between Vita Moiseeva from Russia and Nina Roth from the USA. The winner of this game is going straight to the quarterfinals, and the loser will have another chance at making it to the quarterfinals in the C final at 8 o'clock this evening. We are in the 8th end, and the score is all tied up at 6 each. As you can see, the US has started off, which means that the Russians hold hammer coming home.
Это очень широко. Очень широко. Окей,
So in the last end or two, both teams have gone for it, trying to outwit and outplay their opposition.
Уля, да, запирать. Давай,
We have seen an interesting end that went back and forth, and Nina Roth took a shot at scoring 4, trying to close up the game. She overcurled a little bit, only scoring 1, and this means they now have to steal the 8th end to still come home with a win and have an evening off.
Second stone then of Becca Hamilton's.
Whoa. Right on center line's really good.
Tab if you can. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So this is a classic build-up if you want to steal the last end.
Yep. That's
You
good.
first throw a short guard and then a long guard. And the aim is to make it as difficult as possible for the opposition to remove both guards with one shot.
Нет, ждать. Нельзя. Начало. Опять то же самое. Пока очень широко.
8. 12
Каждый есть и о.
12.
Ставишь.
8.
И
The Americans choosing to ignore the 2 red stones and drawing around the other side, aiming at getting their own rock into shot rock position.
Tight.
Tight. Tight.
Whoa.
Tight.
Whoa then.
5, 6, 7.
Whoa then.
7, 8.
Room. You got room. Yep.
Only for line.
Roll. Room. Tab. Tab. Whoa. 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 Very nice, Eileen.
Here we go. A nice throw by Eileen Geving.
Я думаю, можем вот так пробовать.
And the Russians will now go and opt for the peel. They will try to get the red stone moving, the yellow stone moving. And the aim is to have both red and yellow out of the game.
Хорошо, молодец.
So here we go, the US replacing their guard again. It's important that this guard stays high, meaning as far away from the house as possible, so as to prevent the Russians from removing both stones at the same time. For this, it's also important that the stones are in the same line, just as they have played it now.
Свип! 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 Да-да-да-да-да-да-да-да-да-да, Уль, убирай, Уль.
Oh,
Oh. This is not what they aimed for.
no, hoping to catch the second front stone. We can see this again. The rays onto the reds. Remove one of them. One of their own stones coming out of there, and the other one going in front of the yellow counter of the US. And now I think it's a question of Roth just trying to guard up, keep that stone of hers on the 4 foot, and she will get the victory. She needs to steal here to win the game.
Good. Steal.
Clean.
Exactly, and
Let it work. Whoa, Eileen.
for the end so far, the keystone has been Eileen Giving's
1, 2.
first
Oh.
rock, which was a draw right to the button. The important thing is to have a good shot rock, which you can protect. This guard sliding a little bit far.
Tab.
What's that?
Vita Moiseeva now looking at the angles. She knows she's got 2 chances. She can either catch the yellow first guard in a way that it goes onto the second yellow guard so that both go out of the house. Or if she catches it a little bit thicker, she may have a chance of having yellow onto red. However, this would normally be plan B or C.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Юля. 1.
Well, just clearing
Just clearing the front one,
the front one off, yep.
which is sensible. Worst thing that could happen is if you just replace a stone and have still 2 guards in front.
And Roth will repeat the same shot, or she will have
Little tight. Line's
Tabitha
okay.
Peterson do that.
Gotta go for weight.
Get this guard back on again.
Whoa. Yep. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Gotta
I
hold
just
the
don't
center
want to be
line.
too close.
Whoa, whoa. Yep, 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 yep.
Great shot. Great shot.
So another long guard delivered. Still the chance to run both of the guards off at the same time with the same shot.
Свип!
Да.
Juliana Vasileva with the takeout.
Да-да-да! Да-да-да, Юля, убирай!
Well done. She got them both
Nicely
and
done.
rolled her shooter.
Молодец.
Great shot from Moiseeva.
Definitely opens up the game, and now Nina Roth really has to place her guard accurately.
Like that.
For those watching a number of our matches through the weekend, I can inform you that our next up game will be at 20:15 local time, which is about an hour from now, and it will feature
That's too much.
Corey Christensen from the USA and Scotland's Hannah Fleming, who have both qualified through to the last game in the Sea Road. Winner of it will get a place in the quarterfinals. So after we finish with this. Just long enough for a cup of tea and back for the next one.
But now we have the first skip stones of Team USA. Nina Roth. Absolutely crucial that she places this stone in front of the two that are already in the house. Sweepers are working it.
Well, not happy with that at all.
Should have curled a good half stone more.
Well, the guards have been placed well right through the end till now.
Still, it's not completely useless. It covers the right-hand side of the red stone.
It does, and if you're going to hit the red onto the yellow and remove it, it's got to be a pretty accurate shot coming from left to right as we look at it from here.
Exactly, and you probably need to be hit a little bit more than full stone. So overcurl a little bit, and that means the yellow stone could be in the way. Basically, Nina Roth is now forcing Vita Moiseeva to throw a soft takeout, and these are always a bit harder to control on swingy conditions like we have here in Bern.
Галька тут вот так била.
Sweeping furiously. Must be getting close to the guard. Are they going to get past it? Oh, they are. Beautiful shot.
Very nice shot, yes.
She couldn't have played it better. Fantastic shot from Moiseeva. Just when she needed it most. 2 stones remaining now. And this passes the guard by next to nothing, as you can see. Ooh. Curls a little more, as you predicted it needed to, Michael. Taps the yellow back, and both of them are covered. Well, great play from Moiseeva.
Really great play. She took... The only thing Nina Roth now has left is draw to the button. And if you remember, there is a red guard up in front, which may possibly block the way.
I'm not sure the shot is on.
There's no way. It's not going to curl all the way.
You can't get in there.
It's not going to overcurl 2 widths of a stone.
The only way to do it might be past the red stone on the left
Yeah, roll under
and hope to have enough curl to draw right in to catch a piece of the
Can we get all the way around?
piece of the blue circle.
Even if we do, we're wide open.
Yeah.
Well, you need a piece of the center, actually, of the white circle. Need a piece of the button, probably.
Yeah,
What?
maybe. She has to be careful though, because if she comes round that way, she's not looking at doing that, but if she were to,
I think that
could be leaving it open for Moiseeva to get to her. That's the other problem. She's got to be hidden here somehow.
I think the call is the run back now from that side.
Wow. Trouble is, the result isn't going to be close enough to the centre if she makes it, even with the run back.
Agreed.
No. The shot will not be made. There's only 1 stone remaining. And the game is that of Moiseeva. That fantastic shot she played was too much for Nina Roth. And the Americans will go down 7 shots to 6. Team Moiseeva qualify into the quarterfinals for tomorrow. And Roth will have another game this evening with a chance also to get to the qualification quarter-final games. So the final score, 8 shots to 6 in this game. And from me, Richard Harding, and from Michael Schifferle, from both of us, a very good evening, and please join us again approximately 55 minutes from now. Good evening.